A mochi moment from Tara, who writes, "For years, all my doctor said was eat less and move more, which never worked. But you know what does? The simple eating tips from my nutritionist at Mochi. And after losing over 30 pounds, I can say you're not just another GLP-1 source. You're a life source." Thanks, Tara. I'm Myra Ahmed, founder of Mochi Health. To find your Mochi moment, visit joinmochi.com.
Tara is a Mochi member compensated for her story.
I'm Tad Flakey.
I'm Lilibet Flakey.
And this is Pointless Global News. On today's show, a meth-fueled flight attendant gives new meaning to the Mile High Club.
Next, Ozempic for pets. New hope for pudgy pooches and tubby tabbies.
And then we'll wrap things up with an update on the serial butt sniffer who we reported on last month. That smelly story later. But first, an on-duty flight attendant with British Airways was found naked and high on drugs in the bathroom of an airplane that was headed to London's Heathrow Airport. Hayden Pentecost, age 41, had methamphetamine and other amphetamines in his system when he was supposed to be attending to passengers on a flight traveling from California to London. The brazen airline attendant was sweating and babbling in flight and appeared to be agitated. He had to be removed from his duties by his manager after he failed to assist with any of the pre-flight safety checks. Pentecost then locked himself in one of the bathroom stalls under the guise that he had been suffering from cramps and needed to change his clothes, only for one of his co-workers to later discover him naked and incoherent with dilated pupils and a high heart rate. Yes, he was totally buzzed. The co-worker had to help Pentecost get dressed before he could be moved into an empty seat aboard the aircraft. He was checked on every 20 minutes until the plane landed at Heathrow, where he was then taken to a local hospital. Pentecost, who was fired for his under-the-influence outburst, pleaded guilty to performing an aviation function while impaired by drugs. He was granted bail and is awaiting sentencing. And now here's Lilibet with the latest on a prescription for pet gluttony.
Life's rough enough without the added challenge of getting your pudgy pup or tubby tabby to slim down. America's obesity crisis extends beyond humans. Studies suggest that around 60% of dogs and cats nationwide are overweight. The consequences are far from fluffy. Those extra pounds can lead to serious health issues, sky-high vet bills, and fewer years for your furry friend. Enter the Ozempic era. Yes, you heard it, Ozempic. Pharmaceutical companies are sniffing out new territory, tapping the same science behind blockbuster weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy to develop similar treatments for pets. One biotech firm, Okava, expects to roll out its animal-friendly version by the end of the decade, hoping to give your portly pooch or hefty house cat a chance at a leaner, longer life. Roughly the size of a standard tracking chip, the device delivers a steady dose of exenatide for up to 6 months. While similar to the active ingredients in human drugs like Wegovy and Zepbound, exenatide imitates a hormone called GLP-1, which helps to decrease appetite, increase feelings of fullness, and slow digestion. OKV-119 mimics many of the physiological effects of fasting without requiring significant changes in feeding routines or disrupting the human-animal bond that often centers around food. But don't worry, your pet won't go on a hunger strike. What owners should expect to see is their pet eating appropriate portions without the previous food obsession, said Klotzman. They'll still eat regularly and show interest in meals, just without the excessive begging, scavenging, or gulping behaviors. Early studies in cats showed promising results, with small doses of exenatide helping felines reduce their calorie intake and shed at least 5% of their body weight over 112 days. The trial is now being expanded to include dogs, and if successful, the companies aim to launch OKV-119 commercially by 2028 or 2029. That would be a game changer for the nation's pets, which are increasingly tipping the scales. In 2022, Veterinarians classified 100 million dogs and cats as overweight or obese, up from 80 million just 5 years prior. According to the Association for Pet Obesity Prevention, that's not just extra fluff. Studies show that overweight dogs live up to 2.5 years less than their slimmer peers and often have a lower quality of life. Among cats, chubbier felines aged 8 to 12 face a 2.8 times higher mortality rate compared to their leaner counterparts. OKV-119 represents an additional tool for veterinarians treating pets where conventional approaches have been insufficient, similar to how GLP-1 therapies have provided new hope for human patients struggling with obesity despite their best efforts with diet and exercise. Americans love their pets. A recent poll found that 52% of dog owners consider their canine companion's health just as important as their own, while 41% say it's even more important. Now, I don't know what to say about this, honestly. I think there is something to be said about wanting to help your pet lose weight, but do we really have to go so far as to put them on these drugs? Because we had a corgi, Tad, and the breeder that sold us that corgi told us that we absolutely, positively, under no circumstances could let her get overweight. And once when we were boarding her, she actually took the half cup scoop that we were using for her food and replaced it. So we kept our little corgi from becoming a footstool, and she lived a long, happy 14 years.
Yes, she did.
And a healthy one, too.
Now, I had one cat before we met. His name was Smokey, and he could have used this. Not that I would have used it, but he was tipping the scales, I think, a little over 25 pounds, which is enormous for a cat. And we didn't really overfeed him. He was big boned, as some people are overweight.
No, he was probably eating the other cat's foods, don't you think?
He was just enormous. He had a head that was like at least half time or a complete times, double time the size of a normal cat's head. And he was a wonderful cat, but because of his size and because of his weight, he only lived to be 8 years old. But yeah, that's the kind of animal I think that they're thinking of for this. But you're going to have to spend an awful lot of money.
You are.
If you're going to go down that road.
People find it worth it. Well, maybe he had a little Maine Coon cat in him because they can be huge.
It's interesting you said, because I always thought he did have some of that, because those are really huge cats.
Okay.
Finally, he's back. A serial butt sniffer has allegedly struck again in California, less than a month after a similar incident. Khalees Caron Crowder, age 38, was arrested after he allegedly sniffed a woman's behind on Wednesday at a Walgreens in Burbank, California. Store employees called police, and the accused was arrested a few hours later. He was booked in jail Thursday, according to public records from the L.A. County Sheriff's Department. Crowder was dubbed the butt-sniffing bandit on social media following multiple alleged incidents, including one last month where police were called to a Nordstrom Rack store in the same city about a suspicious individual loitering in the women's department. Crowder had left the department store by the time the officers arrived, but he was later spotted at a nearby Walmart. Using the store's surveillance system, officers monitored the suspect as he moved through the various departments. While in the women's section, the suspect was observed following a female customer, crouching near her and allegedly engaging in lewd behavior by inappropriately sniffing her buttocks. Crowder was charged with one count of loitering with intent to commit a crime for the July 22nd incident. His bail was set at $100,000. It is unclear why he was released again. Crowder is a registered sex offender with a documented history of similar arrests for lewd conduct in both Glendale and Burbank, dating back to 2021, according to police. In 2023, Crowder made headlines for an alleged stalking incident caught on camera. Machiella Witter shared footage of herself being followed by a man, appearing to be Crowder, at a Barnes & Noble bookstore in Burbank. The video, which has more than 4.1 million views on TikTok, shows a man crouching down near Witter's legs. When she asked him what he was doing, he told her that he was tying his shoes. Yeah, that's the ticket. I'm tying my shoes. I'm sure you'd believe that a little bit, wouldn't you?
Yeah, right.
To you?
Hardly.
And that's going to be a wrap for another Pointless Global News. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tad Flaky.
I'm Lilibet Flaky.
Stay pointless, my friend.